Long ball number two, Major League Soccer and the CONCACAF Champions Cup just completed the round of 16 with that Miami game in the books. So outside of the Major League Soccer teams that are remaining in the competition, Inter Miami, LAFC, Vancouver, and the Galaxy, which one of these teams do you think that now that they've gotten through the round of 16, now we're moving into the quarterfinals, which Major League Soccer team has the best odds at making a run to the final, maybe winning the whole shebang?
Yeah, this is a year where it looks very difficult to imagine an MLS team winning the competition based on what we've just seen with Cincinnati and Seattle being knocked out, Robert, and not doing enough in their home legs. So we talked about this already, right? It's the home legs that really killed those two teams, and now you've got a couple of decent sides. I'm sorry, Galaxy fans, but I'm gonna have to hate on you just a bit. Your Galaxy are probably not going to get past Tigres, so I'm kind of discounting the Galaxy, who did come back against Herediano and make it into the quarterfinal round with that victory. So that leaves us with LAFC, who gets Miami. So we're going to lose an MLS team in the next round. Only one MLS team will be going on to the semifinal from that side. But we're also guaranteed an MLS semifinalist. So that is something. Now, Vancouver shocked everybody by getting that draw in Monterrey and getting past the Rayados. So that is, can Vancouver keep it going? And they get Pumas in that next round. It says TBD, but we know who's moving on. So they get Pumas. That's going to be tough. They're going to have to do this back-to-back, beat Mexican sides back-to-back. Now, if they do get a semifinal, they'll get it against an MLS team, which would probably be an easier challenge. So I think that your best hope is either LAFC or Miami, and I'm kind of in a flip-a-coin situation with those two teams. But because of maybe the Messi factor and just some questions around Mascherano and Inter Miami, I think LAFC is your best bet to win this competition from MLS.
What do you think LAFC's position of strength is? I know when they were playing Seattle last week, the commentators were saying, "Oh, these are the two deepest teams in Major League Soccer," but there's also the question marks of Olivier Giroud. Is he going to be providing what they want? What is the other than just a blanket statement of saying, their depth is the best quality? Where is the engine? What is the dynamic position for LAFC?
Well, I mean, look, Giroud has not delivered yet, and there's some talk about whether or not he should be out of the lineup, and Steve Trundle needs to move on from him, and a decision needs to get made. I look, when you have Dina Bouanga still, right? When you still have talented players who can score goals in your lineup, I'm not sure it's like the end of the world. For example, I'm going to bring this to Manchester United. Manchester United got through in the Europa League. They got through on the back of Bruno Fernandes, right? Because their forwards, and Rasmus Højlund is the one we're talking about here, can't score goals. He just cannot score goals. But they still got through. And it'd be better for them if Rasmus Højlund was scoring goals. But if you have a Bruno Fernandes who can step up, and I know two of those were penalties, then it doesn't matter as much. And Giroud can do a lot of things sort of off the ball and back to goal and things like that can still help that team. The key player, though, for LAFC is the guy who helped the Galaxy win a championship last year, Mark Delgado. Mark Delgado has made that midfield better for the LAFC after switching sides of town. So he's the one I'd be keeping an eye on if I was watching this team go through the CONCACAF Champions Cup. They could very well get past Miami. In fact, I would have them favorites to beat Miami. And then again, they're going to have to probably go up against Pumas unless Vancouver beats Pumas.
I was going to say, let's give Vancouver some kudos here.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they pulled off the upset. How many times have we said the sentence, Vancouver Whitecaps have beaten Monterrey?
Yeah, that's not a thing usually, right? And they did it on away goals. Again, they scored twice in Monterrey. That does a lot of credit for that. That's not what MLS teams do, all right? We bemoan the fact that both Seattle and Cincinnati wasted their home legs because we knew how hard it was to win away, and both of them got rocked. Certainly Seattle did. That was not what happened to Vancouver. I don't know what there are factors you can pull in, and why were they able to do what Cincinnati and Seattle could not do? I don't know. Maybe it's their new head coach. Maybe it's just a mentality. Maybe it's being Canadian right now because everybody Canadian feels very proud to be from Canada. And they're not all Canadian, obviously.
Inflated, yeah.
Maybe it's Brian White. Brian White scored in that game. Brian White just got called up to the U.S. men's national team. A 29-year-old forward finally getting some shine. Like, that is great.
I was gonna say the legendary Sergio Ramos couldn't undo the resplendent work of Brian White. I mean, you can't beat back Brian White at this point. And then in the other quarterfinal, Cruz Azul America. Who's the best team from the Mexican Mexican competitors at the moment? I'm not haven't been tapped in there.
Cruz Azul is atop the table right now in the Clausura. They're 2 points up on Club America. So you're talking about the two top teams in Mexico at the moment going up against one another. By the way, Tigres, also still alive in this tournament, playing against the Galaxy in this next round. They're in third place. So, I'm sorry, did I say Cruz Azul? Leon's atop the table. Cruz Azul's in fifth. I'm going to get this right. Club America's in second. So you would shade it Club America's way just based on their form in the league. But I don't know that you should be too wrapped up in that. These teams will absolutely throw haymakers at one another. It's going to be an incredibly entertaining matchup. I would shade it to Club America, but yeah.
All right. So we shall see what happens in the round of 16. That's going to be in a few weeks' time after the international break. Here in a little bit, later in April or so.